Let's get down to business on a Thursday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It is the early line. It's your boy DRS. It's Joe Ranieri. And this week, just some news and notes. Thank goodness for Joe and him saying, you know what? Put my trust in those New York Yankees. Joe has 2 walk-away winners the past 2 days. I dipped my toes in the water for some team totals. I'm 0-2. So I got to certainly turn it around on a Thursday, but there's time to do it. And I got a juicy public fade for a little bit later in the show. But when we talk about the show today, Joe, 2 hours, action-packed teams on the brink of elimination. We'll talk about those Montreal Canadiens that surprised Carolina in game number 1. You know what happened the next 3 games? Woo-hoo! It's been the Hurricanes all the way through. Now, basketball tonight in the association. Elimination time for the San Antonio Spurs? It could be. So many topics to fit in a 2-hour show to get your morning started off in style. Joe, I'm fired up even though I'm losing. I know you're fired up with these easy winners on the Yanks.
It ain't broke, don't fix it, Donnie, right?
Man.
There's death, there's
Goodness.
taxes, and there's the Yankees likely beating up the Royals. Happens every year. But you're right. Tonight is put up or shut up time here in the all-important Game 6 in the NBA Western Conference. Who will be facing the Knicks, or will we get another game? Donnie, that's the big question.
It is. I'll tell you what else the big question with putting up is Christopher Sanchez on a streak for those Fighting Phils, leads Major League Baseball in ERA. But it's time to fill out your cup of coffee here, maybe a double shot of espresso, the hottest topic of the day, delivered fresh to you, Caffeinated Joe.
Well, Donnie, I think today we do need to talk about how Adam Silver has officially turned this league into a soft, protective, coddling machine for, well, a select few superstars. Because yesterday we learned that the San Antonio Spurs 9-foot alien there, Victor Wembanyama, was handed a punishment after blowing off his mandatory media obligations following a horrific Game 5 performance on Tuesday night. And what was that brutal punishment from the league office, you ask? Well, a stern warning. Yeah, likely in an email. That's right, a stern warning. Give me a break here, Donnie. It is not hard to recognize special treatment and the league favoritism, well, that they give a handful of players from a mile away. Now, Wemby played like crap. He knows it. I know it. You know it. His team lost. And instead of standing at the podium and facing the music like, oh, I don't know, the rest of his teammates, he decided to sneak out through the back door to avoid tough questions. And while Adam Silver responds with a gentle tap on the wrist. And the NBA, and this is great, is claiming he got grace because, well, he is, quote, a first-time offender. Really? Because, I don't know, back in 2023, I believe Jimmy Butler was fined $25K because he skipped a press conference. Not to mention, I believe Dillon Brooks also earlier these playoffs, $25K for a first round missing of the media obligation. So where was the stern warning for those guys? Where was the first-time offender clause? Where was that, well, they're a nice guy, I get it. It didn't exist because their names are not Victor Wembanyama. And this comes directly on the heels of the league refusing to fine Wemby, by the way, for launching a flying elbow into the face of Naz Reid last series. So you know it, I know it, and every rational fan knows it. If roles were reversed and Naz Reid launched a flying elbow into Wemby, he would have been fined and suspended for eternity. We are a long, long way removed from the David Stern days, where if you didn't show up to a press conference in the proper attire, well, then not only were you looking at a suspension, but you might have lost half your check. Now, well, the suits in the league office are so desperate to prop Wemby up as the face of the league and their next golden ticket that the rules appear not to apply to him, and that is a big mistake. The guy is about to sign the largest extension in NBA history. He can afford the $25,000 fine. More importantly, Donnie, the NBA could certainly afford the look. Maybe not have to, but look like they're at least enforcing the rules, because it's not about the money. It's about the NBA continuing to shoot itself in the foot by proving to fans and everyone else on the planet who watches the sport, if you want to sit there and have people take you seriously, then you have to make sure the rules apply to everyone. And with the refs and now the Wemby ridiculous, the NBA is making it very difficult to like this league anymore, and they got nobody to blame, Donnie, but themselves.
And sometimes people would say, Joe, leave him alone. You know, you have to understand this. In the NHL, which gets a fraction, Joe, of the ratings that the NBA gets at this point right now, you had John Tortorella, who just signed on as their head coach. He probably only made $75,000 so far at this point as a head coach in the NHL. They paid $100,000 fine, so he's probably breaking even right now, even though he's into the playoffs. And understand this, too. The organization themselves, who's heading towards the Stanley Cup, they docked him a second-round pick for not speaking to the press. And you know all we want? Where do we say? Like, who's going to take the mantle from LeBron to be the face of the league and carry this into the next millennium? Do you know what we want to hear from some of the best players? Put the microphone in front of their face, facing adversity for the first time. Hey, Wemby, how did it go? That's unacceptable. I can't let my emotions get to me. I was terrible. I promise in the next game, I'll be better. That goes viral with millions upon millions of hits, and people go, you know what? That's a guy I like to get around. When the going gets tough, they get going and don't show up. That's unacceptable in the NBA. And also, as Joe points out, it would be different. Wemby fined $250,000 and the Spurs fined the second-round pick for their best player not talking in one of the biggest moments here. That's an example. It's just about reaching your fan base here. We want to hear from the great players when they play great, but also, boy, I wonder what he said when that went really bad. And also, what did you say to the two goons coming off the bench that all of a sudden were trying to blow up Jared McCain in the middle of that basketball game? We just want to hear. That's our right as fans, and the NBA really needs to step that up. Great topic, Joe, to start our Thursday off. Here comes the early lineup, which Josh Jacobs might not be getting in front of that microphone anytime soon. He's just getting out of jail on bond, and a lot of charges pending against him here, Joe.
It's not a good situation here. I mean, him and his attorneys are, screaming foul play here that he's innocent, but it'll play out. But right now, the optics of this, not good for him, Green Bay, or the NFL.
How about making more money off the field than you do on the field? Well, look at that. That's Mr. Kelce, Travis Kelce, buying into, the Cleveland Guardians, minority owner. I love this city so much. I credit every good thing in my life to Cleveland. Boom, he's now an owner, Joe.
Yeah, you go from a winning franchise in the Kansas City Chiefs to now investing in a losing franchise with two pitchers that bet on the game. Okay, way to go, Kelsey. Way to go. Hope you bought in on rock bottom prices. I'll say that.
Bought in on Jose Ramirez. Mac Jones back on a one-year deal, Joe, with those Niners.
Yeah, I mean, listen, why not, right? Great backup quarterback, proven, loves the system. Why not? I think it's money well spent.
Von Miller. Hey, if you can rush the passer and get a few sacks, Joe, you can play for 20-plus years. Looks like Von's trying to do that.
Yeah, and stay out of jail. That's pretty important, too, as well. So, we'll see how long that lasts, though, for good old Von Miller.
This just in, Canadians are bad at hockey. I have no idea why. Why is the U.S. so much better? The Canadians' cup hopes since, 1993? On the ropes, where the Hurricanes went in and dropped the Canadians again on their home ice.
Yeah, just not a good game. It was over before it started there, Donnie. Another first period over, though, for the Montreal Canadiens.
Hour number two, we might have to wait a little bit on this one to get down to a bipartisan bill proposed in U.S. Congress. A lot of times, Joe, we hear, we don't want Congress getting involved. This time they have to, because nobody wants to get involved, and it can't be the Wild Wild West anymore, Joe.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not one for having the government involved in anything, but hey, you created this problem, NCAA.
FIFA, they created a problem. Now they're getting subpoenaed on ticket prices here. What bad PR do we get before this tournament starts? We'll be right back. Spread lines you need to know for tonight. And it always starts in the association because we are waiting to see what that finals matchup is going to be. On one side, it's already the New York Knicks waiting, getting healthier by the moment. And it's Game 6, San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. If the Spurs do lose tonight, they got to go play down in that dirty water in Galveston, and away their postseason hopes go. But if they win, they can force a game number 7. Look at that line. -3.5 as a favorite towards the San Antonio Spurs, and a total listed at 219.5. The public loading up on those Spurs. Line not moving so much. Could we maybe have a play in hour number 2, Joe? But for you, what's that spread line tonight between the Thunder and the Spurs?
In a lot of spots, Donnie, I'm seeing it split here. It feels like everyone thinks Oklahoma City is going to get the whistles like they usually get here, and that'll be the end of that. Wemby, though, you're going to skip all of that and create all of this drama about the optics of the league. You better show up in Game 6. So I find it fascinating that when OKC has won in this series, Donnie, the totals have gone over. When San Antonio has won, it's been all about defense and fewer points. And yet, I thought for sure we'd see this total into the 220s by now, and we're not. 218.5 is an open. I'm seeing 218.5, 219, maybe 219.5. So it looks like the markets are kind of split. They don't know which way to go. I think it's correlated. If you like OKC, bet the over. If you like the Spurs, bet the under, Donnie.
Let's keep it in basketball, but this time, Joe, over to the WNBA. Doubleheader tonight, one game at 8 o'clock, one game at 10 o'clock. Game number 1 at 8 p.m., live from Dallas. It's the Aces and the Wings, 4-2 versus 4-3. The favorite, though, Joe, is the Aces. I'm seeing some opening lines around 3.5. You see the graphic. We're up to 4.5 at most outlets here, and the total is jumping from the low 170s, Joe, all the way up to 177.5. Beckers and Fudd versus the Aces, Joe. Give me a spread line tonight.
Defending champs, right, versus the up-and-coming Dallas Wings here. And you got to love it because the Wings have a ton of talent and maybe one of the more fun teams to watch in the league, but they're going up against a very experienced Aces team there in Arlington. So I don't know. Call me crazy. I think points are coming here. I think the over, once again, Dallas plays a lot of games in the upper 80s, lower 90s, not so much on defense, but they got some offense, and we know the Aces can match them. Over for me in this one here, Donnie.
As we said, a doubleheader tonight in the WNBA. Game number 2, West Coast action. Indiana Fever taking on the Golden State Valkyries. You take a look at this side, Joe. The Valkyries are the favorites at -1.5. Some outlets still showing the favorite to be the Fever. Make sure you're checking in the books here. Get your best pricing here because you can get the plus side or the minus side, depending on which side you're shopping. The total, Joe, as we talked about in game number 1, going up. This one actually going down. 169.5 opening number at some outlets. Joe, you see the graphic. 167.5. Fever on the West Coast taking on the Valkyries. What's the spread line we can look forward to here?
Well, we just watched this, right? It's a rematch of, what was it, a 90-82 Fever home win last Friday. Caitlin Clark, 22 points in that one, 7 for 15 shooting. And Indiana hasn't played a game since then, Donnie. So they are they're rested, to say the least. And now they're going to get to have to hit the road. Now, Golden State has done a pretty good job over the last couple of seasons with against Caitlin Clark. It's one thing to do it at home. It's a whole other thing to do it on the road. I think defense in this one, Donnie, not offense, defense. I'm looking at the under in this one.
The Cubs won a game yesterday, people. Fly the W, break out the champagne bottles. The Cubbies are back. Do you know what their reward is today? To be a -174 underdog and a total of 7.5. You know what that means. And it rhymes with Paul Skeens on the mound tonight to face Colin Ray. They just won a game, Joe. Now they're going against a deadly warrior. And also, when you take a look at Paul Skeens, you want this guy in daytime. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock start in the afternoon. You can get to him at night. Pretty hard to touch him, Joe. Skeens versus Ray tonight. Did the Cubs go 2 in a row? We're back to the L for those Cubbies. What's the spread line here?
Well, it's tough, Donnie, because it's not like Skeens. He's had a couple of back-to-back rough outings where he's given up some runs here. So not as automatic as he has been. He's had some, pockets here where teams are able to get to him and make it work. But listen, the Cubs, they finally won a game, Donnie. And you know what happens after teams on long losing streaks finally win? They tend to turn around and go on a winning streak here. So I think the Cubs might be worth a little play here at plus money against Paul Skeens, because at some point that bullpen's got to get involved in the Pirates.
Take a look in the West here, and that is the AL West. Houston going to take on Texas today. Look at the standings right now. Houston sits at 25-32. You take a look at the Texas Rangers, 25-30. Two teams from Texas. Boy, we might have some higher expectations for these two teams, not living up to that so far. Arrighetti versus Eovaldi tonight, a favorite. No question there. It's Texas, minus 152, and a total, Joe, of 7.5. Spencer versus Nate tonight. Who do we got?
Well, we saw this, right, back on the 15th and 16th of this month, Donnie, and Arrighetti almost threw a no-hitter against the Rangers, and Eovaldi threw 7 innings of no-run baseball. So tell me where the runs are coming here tonight at Globe Life. Likely not coming here. I think it's an under. I think it's going to be another good pitcher's battle. We had a pretty good one yesterday with DeGrom and Burrows. I think we get the same thing here tonight with Arrighetti and Eovaldi.
Yeah, doing a simple little look at Arrighetti so far on the season. ISO against Joe faced 176 batters, .056, microscopic, 257 weighted on base percentage here, ridiculously low. We'll see where it comes from. Then you flip it over and take a look at some of the statistics for Nathan Eovaldi on the season. 257 batters he's faced, Joe, 169 ISO, which is right around average, but a 305 weighted on base percentage, which is low. K percentage pretty good at 24%. He does get hit a little bit by lefties, but you look at the lineup tonight, anticipated for the Astros, Joe, lefty and Alvarez, lefty and Trammell, lefty and Shumaki. That's it. So 3 out of the 9 batters are lefties when he really excels against righties. I'm with Joe. I don't know where the runs come from tonight. And also in Major League Baseball, Joe, afternoon action, some night action, only 6 games on the card. We talked about 2 in the WNBA, but the big one tonight down in San Antonio. Can they stay away from going fishing in the all season and send OKC to their 2nd straight finals appearance? We'll find all that and much more. We're rolling along right here on the early line. Come back after the break. We'll be here. Come on, let's dip into a little bit of Major League Baseball and also baseball not on the Major League level because we got hot topics to talk about. Donnie Right Side, Joe Ranieri, Early Line Sports Grid Network, John Boy Media. And I saw this and I watched the video. And I'm siding not with the human being, sided with the dog right here. I'm a dog lover, got 2 English Springer Spaniels, love them to death. But how about this story, Joe? Tulsa Drillers are suspending their bat dog program after Dodgers prospect Kendall Gill, remember Kendall Gill, by the way? Kendall George was hurt trying to avoid a bat dog. The dog was doing his job coming out of the dugout to get the bat. He tried to avoid him, hurt himself. Now they're taking the dog's job away. Don't take the dog's job away. He was doing his job there. Take the player's job away. How about that, Joe? Dogs for the win here.
Donnie, I could not agree with you more on this here. If you can't figure it out, okay, that the dog is there to get the bat and you somehow manage to hurt yourself, I don't know what you're doing, dude. Don't know what you're doing here, but you deserve to be hurt and the dog deserves to go back to doing its job, Donnie.
Now, by the way, put that graphic back up on the screen because I am an animal lover at this point here. Is this do I have to call the SPCA? Are they painting this dog to look like a leopard? I've never seen a dog look like that before, Joe. What is this? Who's doing this?
Well, it's very good at collecting bats, I'll tell you that. But that's good to go. Listen, hey, let the dog do its job, Donnie.
Yes.
Right? Let the dog do its job. Minor league players should be on the IL for being an idiot.
By the way, also, Joe, more people coming to the ballpark to see a guy called Kendall Gill or to see that dog get the bat. I guarantee you the more cheers are for that dog getting the bat and being a good boy and running back to the dugout here. Now, Joe, something that we've been talking about for a while. I need Major League Baseball in my life. It carries me through a good part of the summer, gets me excited, and then says, you know what, Donnie, football season is here, job well done. I take off the month of September in baseball and then get re-energized for playoff baseball in October. But how about this, Joe? Major League Baseball is expected to make its first proposal to the union tomorrow, which, again, that tweet was from yesterday from Jeff Passan. Owners have long planned to push a salary cap and the details of what will set the stage for the labor battle leading up to December 1st, expiration of the collective bargaining agreement. This is good, Joe. Get the word out there sooner. Float some things across. Maybe maybe just you're crowdsourcing here at this point to see what might work. I love the fact that we're talking now, Joe, in the month of May, as opposed to, all right, meeting's underway in December. Yeah, this stinks. We'll meet again in March, and we're going to have a lockout here. What do you think, Joe? Optimism?
No, absolutely not.
Come on.
This is all ridiculous.
Come on, Joe.
Because there's no leverage now. The only leverage is going to be when it's under the gun and the threat of a lockout. That's it. And we all know how this is going to play. They're going to be nice. Everything like, oh, things are going well. And all of a sudden, we're going to be like, nope. Salary cap, nope, not going to do it. We're just going to have to wait to threaten the whole world with no baseball by the time December rolls around.
And by the way, also on this, I would love if they announced tomorrow they had a deal, but I've been telling you for months, Joe, in those predictive markets, it's free money. They are not going to come to an agreement before December 1st. No way, shape, or form, even though I would love it here. Andrew McCutchen, great baseball player, been around a while, great clubhouse guy, great human being. DFA'd here by the Texas Rangers. I got a sneaky suspicion he's probably going to be playing Major League Baseball in a town near one of us pretty soon. Maybe the Phillies. They can't hit. They don't have any right-handed bats. Maybe he comes back for a reunion, Joe.
That could very well be, but, listen, the Rangers can't hit either. But this should be, it'll be interesting, Donnie. Probably not unemployed for that long, I think is a good guess, no?
Not unemployed for long. He will be on a franchise before what? What are you talking about? May 28th, Joe? Early, first week of June? It's going to be in another Major League Baseball uniform here. I'll tell you right now, you don't see this a lot in Major League Baseball. The Phillies stole Christopher Sanchez with one of the more ridiculous contracts you're ever going to see. And in baseball, they don't hold out. So it's like, wait, I got a couple more years of making like $5 million when I just might be the best pitcher in baseball. The Phillies rightfully so tore that up. Did they pay him like the best pitcher in baseball? No. But like, dude, we stole some years from you. We're going to give it back to you. And how is he repaying the Philadelphia Phillies? Well, how about this tweet from Yahoo Sports Show? Christopher Sanchez surpassed Hall of Fame Grover Alexander for the longest scoreless streak in Phillies franchise history. Joe, he's up to 44 2/3 innings pitched without giving up a run. This kid's bringing the heat, man. 44
Grover
innings.
Alexander. That's
Yeah.
one to look up, boys and girls. There, you want to talk about a dominant pitcher?
Yeah.
Woo, in the, one of the most dominant pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball, and to be in that category, Donnie, pretty darn impressive.
Good on, by the way, good on the Phillies as well. They didn't have to give him a dime more, and he's repaying them back. It's a match made in heaven. You love to see these good stories. We'll bring more to you next. In Major League Baseball, Joe, we waited for a long time. Do you know what gets you angry? Ridiculous strike zones. And what I mean by that is, Dave Smith tonight. Boy, he's got a wide strike zone, so you can paint those corners. Oh, no, tomorrow's Tom Davis. You can't paint any corners. Make it make sense. It never did. And people told you and looked right in the eye to you and said, it's nice to have the human element, which means errors are wrong, and that's what happens. No, that's ridiculous here. ABS comes in, Joe. What do we have, like 2,000 overturned calls? Love to see it. I can't wait till we get the automated strike zone so I don't have to see this anymore. Ready, Joe? I'm a catcher. Here's where the ball is coming in. Oh, I caught it out here. Boom. Let me bring it to the center of the plate 3 feet in. I'm done with that. And once we get the ABS, you won't need that anymore automatically every single pitch. But how about this, Joe? One of the toughest sports to, look at and say you run a referee, maybe the NFL. It's just too big, too fast, and too many rules, and they get a lot wrong. But in the NBA, a lot of it is subjective. And we've known over the years where the refs, you go to the rim, Joe, and lay it in. If the basket goes in, a lot of times they don't blow the whistle. If they miss the basket, it goes to the floor. The 3-second late whistle go to the free throw line. How about Adam Silver discussing future plans to implement an AI automated system for reviewing calls? Now, does this mean, Joe, like VAR in soccer where, yes, team total over 1.5, got it done? Oh, no. It's going to this thing called VAR, and they just took it away from me. How did they do that in the NBA, Joe?
Well, Donnie, it's ironic the timing that he brought this up, seeing how we're coming out of a Game 5 where it might have been one of the most laughable officiated games that you've ever seen, where guys are getting whistles for falling down on purpose. Maybe one of the best acting jobs we have ever seen by the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 5. The memes are hilarious And then he comes out and says, yeah, we're thinking about maybe, I don't know, maybe bringing in some AI to help. You think? Because you can't send a team to the free throw line like that when defenders are just standing there and guys somehow fall down and blow the whistle. It was laughably bad there, Donnie. So, yeah, I'm all for it. Bring it in because the NBA is the worst offender.
AI ref calling games in the NBA. Woo, boy. And also, you're going to, hey, was the NBA programming to make sure this game gets extended to game 7 and call more fouls on one team? You know, those conspiracies certainly will be down the line. But there's no conspiracy here, Joe. You brought it up to start the show with a cup of hot Joe. Shams Charania reports the NBA has warned the Spurs' Victor Wembanyama for violating media access rules. Wemby bypassed media obligations after game 5 on Tuesday night. I'm shocked because like the cardinal sin, again, Joe, we get back to, don't bet on your team when you're playing basketball. It's illegal to do that. You know what else is right up there? You better talk to the media after this because this is what we pay you for, and this is why we have media sessions. Otherwise, Joe, there would be no media sessions whatsoever. One of the biggest, brightest worldwide stars in the association. Yeah, I'll speak when I want to, and only got warned for it. Interesting.
Well, again, Donnie, but coming off a situation where all he did was get warned when he, threw a flying elbow at Naz Reid's head. He got thrown out of the game. So what? There should have been some sort of monetary fine there. And many people still think he should have been suspended. But now he skips. And what? Dylan Brooks in the first round? Yeah. He doesn't go to the party. He gets $25K. And the list of guys who have had to pay for doing exactly what Wemby did. Only he gets the stern warning. You got to be. It's laughably bad, the favoritism in the NBA.
The Walter Group owns the Los Angeles Lakers now, bought it off the Buss family here. If you don't know anything about them, you could just throw in tons of places, which include the Los Angeles Dodgers. So you see in yourself, money is not an issue here. We're going to be a first-rate organization, but understand this. Business owners are smart. They didn't get there by wasting money across the board. Whoa, Donnie, they almost paid $1 billion to Ohtani. Yeah, he's profitable with that contract, probably 2-3-fold on top of it. How about this story from Dave McMenamin? New story comes in. The Lakers announcing layoffs across various departments Wednesday as the franchise undergoes a reorganization under new leadership. How about that? We see this all the time. The NFL, which only goes up in ratings and only goes up with price points here, they lay off people all the time in their front office. No surprise to the Lakers, but some would be like, hey, the Lakers are probably one of the more profitable franchises in sports. Doesn't matter. You know what matters to a business? Joe, being more profitable here. The greed, man, kicks in.
Well, and we saw this. I mean, new ownership, new people, and it's not just unique to the NBA. I mean, we did see it in Portland as well. I mean, that guy fired everybody, and, well, he's just not rehiring anybody. Minnesota, when I think it was A-Rod and his group came in to purchase, same thing. I mean, it's corporate America. It doesn't make a difference if it's the NBA or any place else. New leadership, new ownership brings in their own people. We've seen it amidst it. Not a new story here, Donnie.
I'll tell you, it's a good point you bring up on that because I forgot about that Minnesota Timberwolves story with A-Rod buying out the previous owner. But when that leaked, because the previous owner was upset, and you're going to, like say you sell a house. Like, you know what, I'm going to sell my house and it's worth $500,000. If I would have waited a year, it's worth $1.5 million because the market went crazy, but you agreed to sell it a year before at that $500,000. He tried to get out from under that. And what he did was leak out the new proposals from A-Rod and that new ownership group, which was incredible. Because as a fan, you want to hear that your team gets bought and that owner goes, money's no expense. I bought this because I want championships. That's all that matters. I'll spend as much money as I can to get that. And the fans are like, ooh, thank goodness here. But the A-Rod group came in and their proposal was, we're not paying this payroll. We are dropping it by at least 25 to 30% right away. We are getting under all of those luxury tax numbers. And the fan base is going like, oh, I hope this deal never goes through and we keep the same ownership group and we keep on spending all this money. It's a great point you bring up. Now, talking about those Timberwolves here as a segue, Dante DiVincenzo. We saw Achilles injury goes down. Oh, no, probably going to take away the next season. But we just saw Jason Tatum have a great timeline, have a great surgery, a great rehab, and come back to be the Tatum that we knew in less than a year. Could Dante DiVincenzo do the same thing next year?
You got to feel for him, too, because he's, he is, pulls his Achilles, right? Rehab is brutal. Now he's got to watch all his buddies there and former team, the Knicks, in the NBA final. Tough go for DiVincenzo, though. But you're right, Donnie. The meds have changed over the years here, and the whole restructuring of it and getting guys ready to go. Listen, I mean, we're watching Patrick Mahomes 160 some odd days out, right, from blowing his stuff up, and now he's out on the practice field. So it's changed over time. They've gotten really good at getting these guys ready to go.
How about this next story? And I need this here. If you don't think since 1999 we haven't seen a finals appearance for the New York Knicks in that time frame here, that place is going to be on fire. And let's just say it's OKC as a series lead. They have a great fan base as well. We're all watching the NBA Finals. Can you picture Game 3 with the President of the United States in Madison Square Garden? The haters, the lovers, two great basketball teams, NBA Finals. You might be able to get a new CBA just on the ratings alone for that basketball game. I need this to happen, Joe. I need this.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen. I mean, listen, presidency politics aside, Donnie, the guy is from Queens, right? I mean, the guy grew up a diehard Knicks fan, so he should be able to show up in Madison. Finally, the Knicks are in the finals. I mean, he suffered just as many years as every other fan, Donnie, being a Knicks guy and growing up in Queens. And, well, now he's got an opportunity to go see him in the finals. So, I hope it does happen, and it'll be a lot of fun the next morning.
Absolutely impressive at that point. I need this.
Yeah, well, he sounds a little bit like Victor Wembanyama there, doesn't he? Sounds like a little bit like the alien going on there. But the big question is still, who are they playing? Is it going to be San Antonio? Is it going to be OKC? We still got a lot coming up here on that game coming up here tonight because, let's face it, I don't know. Did Adam Silver threaten AI with the refs and maybe they swallow the whistles tonight, or are we just watching flopping all over the place? We'll talk more about it as the early line continues here on the grid.
The early line back from a sub. Apparently, Joe, I was told I might have been on a submarine talking to the people out here, but I guess some line changes on my side got me back in the picture. And talking about line changes, Joe, how about we talk a little hockey action? Chris Johnston with a report. The Canadian Hockey League has suspended. I need help on this one. Chicoutimi's Jordan Torigny for the remainder of the Memorial Cup as he stomped on Kitchener's Christian Humphreys with a skate during last night's game. By the way, stomping in the NBA, we've seen it before. That's a shoe to maybe the back of your head, which doesn't feel good, or your leg. No, it doesn't. You got a razor blade that you're stomping people with? Oh, we can't have that, Joe. We can't do that.
No, we can't, Donnie. And something needs to be done about that sooner rather than later, because that's pretty scary, Donnie. Just saying, pretty scary.
By the way, Joe, we're old timers, as I like to say. And I think this happened in the 1980s. But if anybody's out there, we can't put it up on the screen because it's probably not appropriate. Search the name Clint Malarchuk, a goalie in hockey, when he got a skate blade, Joe, that hit him in the jugular in the neck. One of the scariest things you will ever see. Do you remember that, Joe, by any chance, or no?
Yes, I remember that, and it was. They thought it wasn't going to be good.
How did he live?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know how he lived. Yeah, if anybody's out there watching, maybe you want to view it, maybe you don't, but it's out there on YouTube. One of the scariest things I've seen as a kid, and just goes to show you the miracles of people that can step in with quick action and save your life. Outrageous here, but you can't be stomping people with a skate blade here. A skate blade, excuse me. No. San Antonio Sharks, Joe. How about some strong praise from Sid? Why? Quote. More than anything, I love how competitive he is. That's what I see when I pay attention to him. He wants to get better every day, and he wants to get his team better every day. Is the passion for those things to me, that's leadership. By the way, Macklin Celebrini, he's really good, and this kid's going to be dominant for a long, long time.
Long time. And, listen, when you get somebody like Crosby as that kind of those praise for you, you're on the right path, Donnie. Let's be realistic. The kid's not even old enough, I think, to order a beer here, right? But he is already doing things at his age that very few. Anytime you got to get into the breath of Gretzky and Crosby, you are a special generational talent, and that's what that kid is.
You know what else is a generational talent that's had maybe a struggle this year? Nathan MacKinnon, who, quote, missed an empty netter at the Olympics, got swept by the Golden Knights in the playoffs, and now has to read about Sidney Crosby doesn't think their games mesh well together. Not a good couple months for Nathan MacKinnon, who, by the way, would look great in orange and black here in Philadelphia. I'm just saying.
And he's hurt, right? I mean, he got hurt there. It was just, just add insult to injury. Not good. McKinnon's going to be a long off season for him. Maybe reevaluate what's going on here with Colorado.
Carrying the torch in here for those Les Habitants inside their own arena in Montreal. Iconic, even though they lost. And I believe it's Yaroslav Halak. Did I say that correct? Is that his first name? Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that his first name?
Well done.
I don't see his first name, but I believe it is. And by the way, when did Halak play for them? Was Halak playing back for when the Philadelphia Flyers knocked them out in the Eastern Conference Finals, or no? Maybe I'm missing that there. Somebody needs to give me the exact dates that Halak played. Was it early 2000s or during the 2010s here? Because I want to say maybe the shift for Mike Richards. All right, good. So I think it might have been. Remember when Mike Richards crashed into him there, put the goal in the back of the net, and the Flyers were on their way to the Stanley Cup, only to lose to those Blackhawks? Look, I can relive it, I think, quickly here at this point, Joe. There you go, Halak. He couldn't stop anything, which includes not even a single goal. That's what hurts, Joe. When you make it in this deep into the playoffs, you pay all that money to go see your team play, Joe. Your team doesn't score a goal, and they get blasted, and they're down 3-1. That's got to hurt leaving the arena, no?
Oh, it hurts a lot, Donnie. But again, you're not getting any support. I mean, there were a couple of those goals were not good. But again, you can't be outshot, 40-15 and think you're going to be competitive. That's the problem.
But this is Carolina hockey. And I thought it was interesting because they blew through, Joe, their first two-round opponents, which included my Flyers. They were way better than the Philadelphia Flyers. Then you saw game number one, like, oh my goodness, are the Canadians this good? Look what skill can do to beat up that super aggressive special teams and defense. And then the last 3 games, it's like, how do you score on them, let alone just getting pucks through to the net? They're that good in their system. And also, you want to remove the crowd from the equation, Joe. How do you do that best? Go up 3-0 in the first period. That game was over quick, man.
It really was. I mean, but listen, I will forever remember the Canadians. They went 7 straight in the entire Sabres series with first period overs, Donnie. That was 7 for 7. And now here we are, 4 games in, and they are 4 for 4 in the first period. They didn't contribute anything in this one last night, but the Hurricanes did more than enough to get us the over in the first period. If it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it here. Might as well. I got at least one more game, right, to cash one more ticket, and that's likely going to happen.
But I think it was also, Joe, 4 straight home losses now for the Canadians. They got one of the best energy buildings in the entire league. Just goes to show you sometimes it's more comfortable for those road teams and less pressure for them than being at home. And maybe they can extend that series out once they get down to Carolina. But Carolina looking to get to the Cup Finals here, Joe. Flip it over to football quickly. Nick Sirianni at the podium. A lot going down with the Philadelphia Eagles because June 1st or June 2nd, there could be some roster changes. Let's hear from Nick.
When you do that, you build that trust with people. And Sean's here at all hours of the day. I'm not sure I've beat Sean in here yet this year, and I'm not sure I've left earlier than him, or I've always left earlier than him to this point. Like he grinds and he does what he's supposed to do and works really hard at his craft. And so like you admire that, but that takes time and that's built. And so that's what we're working on right now. Again, all this is a process, I think. And I understand your guys' questions because like I haven't talked to you in a while. Let me ask some of these questions. And I guess my answer to most of them has been, well, it's a process. It's a process. It is. It's not, I'm not trying to give you guys just coach speak.
Yeah, he is giving you coach speak, Joe. What is he supposed to say, by the way? Is that like, hey, Mannion's in the yeah, you hope this guy's like Spurrier. Like he's in at 1:00 in the afternoon. Like, bro, where you been? Then goes golfing by 3:00. Like, this is kind of interesting. We hope it works. What? Of course he's going to say the dude works harder than anybody else. Stop the madness at this point. I love my Eagles. I can't stand their press conferences. But in a couple days, they're going to have a fire press conference. Because why? AJ's out of here. Wide receivers in the NFL, Joe, especially good ones, they're maniacs. They don't care about anything a lot of times except what their statistics are. And if anybody's watched A.J. Brown over the years with the Philadelphia Eagles, he's been nothing short of brilliant 90% of the time that he's on the field. But sometimes some of the other 10% goes, this guy, is he lost his mind? I remember vividly with A.J. Brown a couple years back in the playoffs where the Eagles played the New York Giants and crushed them. But A.J. Brown wasn't getting his statistics and was upset and visibly showing it. So what did they do for A.J. Brown in the fourth quarter of that game? They kept throwing him bombs to see if they can keep him happy with a touchdown catch or more yards here. That's how crazy he is. So you might say to yourself, like, A.J. Brown might be the best wide receiver the Eagles have ever had over a 4-year period and is a Super Bowl champion and scored a touchdown in each one of those Super Bowls. How can he be happy? Well, he's not happy. But let's also hear from the Eagles. Saquon Barkley first talking about A.J. Brown here.
I don't think we really addressed it. It's football. It's a National Football League. I think it's, if you it's going to be a hard time for me to say anything bad about A.J. Brown. I'm a big fan of A.J. Brown, one of my really good friends, one of my favorite teammates I've ever been around. Just respect him as a man. But this is the business. It's the NFL. If I'm not here, if Jalen's not here, if, whoever's not here, the show goes on. And that's how the NFL operates. So you don't really address it. It's not really anything to be addressed. You just go about your work and keep getting better. And, whatever happens, it's above my pay grade. And I'm just focused on being the best player that I can be and also be the best leader I can be for this team going into the next season.
Before I get a response back from you, Joe, because there's some interesting topics here, let's hear from the quarterback here talking about A.J. Brown.
If A.J. is traded, how would that affect the offense? How would that affect you?
Pick the right question to sip on, huh?
Delayed response there at this point. I'll tell you one thing, Joe, which I find interesting. Usually when you want to be traded, it turns into an ugly mess. I've never seen anything like this before. Everybody knows A.J. Brown's going to be traded. Everybody from inside the Eagles organization says nothing but, we love A.J. What a teammate he is. He's fantastic. He works as hard as anybody, and we love the passion. And from A.J. Brown's side of things, no leaks coming out here other than going on a couple podcasts, a little wink action. But usually this will be blown up. We think he's going to the Patriots. It's probably a certainty by the time it takes place next, Joe. But I've never seen anything like this where a superstar player knows he's getting traded. Nobody will admit it, and everybody loves it. And by the way, A.J. Brown has been in the building during OTAs, not working out, but just saying hi to friends and hanging out in the facility. It's an odd circumstance where nobody can admit it just yet because I don't think the NFL wants to open Pandora's box where you can make trades agreed upon like 4 months in advance and just wait on it. It's such an interesting time.
It really is, Donnie. And it feels like we've been having this conversation for how long now? It's just forever. And listen, you can't make the move till what? June 1st? Is that really what the timeline is here? So from now until at least, the calendar turns to June 1st, a couple of more days. I think it'll be all rectified, Donnie, sooner rather than later. I do think if something is going to happen, it's likely going to happen quickly because you don't want to continue to have this conversation and have these players continue to be asked about somebody that's likely not going to be part of the team this year.
Yeah, it's pretty wild as it plays out. But let's get over to a little Yahoo Sports report, which, God bless the SEC, because in the offseason, they operate like the NFL. You have coaches and universities going toe-to-toe with each other. But I get it. Kiffin is great for college football because he is such a villain. Goes from Ole Miss over to LSU, and now Ole Miss and SEC officials discussed a possible reprimand for Lane Kiffin after his viral comments about race impacting recruiting differences between the Rebels and LSU. Kiffin maintains his remarks were not racially insensitive here, which is so funny to me because he was at that institution. Wasn't really speaking up, but now he's at another institution. He goes, whew, so glad I got out of that racist institution, which I recruited a lot of minorities too. Come on, Lane, stop it. Stop it. He's a great villain. He is.
Yeah. It really is, Donnie. He is so good for the sport. And actually, every hire that LSU has is fantastic. It's going to be must-watch television every time Will Wade, Lane Kiffin, every time they take the podium, every time they're coaching. LSU is going to be number one in ratings this year.
It will be. And by the way, in Baltimore, remember that big fight with Lamar Jackson getting that new contract here, finally got it? Well, Lamar Jackson seemingly up for an extension once again, Joe, but wants to keep those discussions private.
Yeah, he did such a great job with Harbaugh keeping everything so quiet too, didn't he? They're a really good job.
You know
there.
what?
Unreal.
Keep it quiet until you actually win in the playoffs and win big. How about that,
There you
Lamar?
go.
Hour number 2 on its way next. The fun seems like it's just starting. Make sure you come back. We'll do it. Hour number 2 on a Thursday, one step closer to your weekend here. Big doings tonight. NBA action, San Antonio Spurs, OKC Thunder, doubleheader in the WNBA, 6 games in Major League Baseball, and so many topics to get to. Kevin Walsh will join us in the next segment here. We'll hear how much fun he's having on In-Game Live during these live finals events. And also, midway through the show, or midway through the hour, I should say, PME on TEL will appear as well. And by the way, yesterday, Joe, Major League Baseball, we had one of the topics that we went over as our games of the night, the Philadelphia Phillies and the San Diego Padres. Do you remember my last clip? I said, wow, Trey Turner, who's struggling, if he hits a home run tonight, a $100 investment on cash, you would pay $1,000. Do you know what he did late in that game? He hit a home run. Fun topics to go over, a lot more, but also, Joe's 2-0 to start the week. I'm 0-2. Thank God Joe's here. More best bets on the way. Got a public fade looking to bounce back, Joe. Setting the table for hour number 2. And away we go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Donnie. We got a lot on the table.
Come on, taking the Yankees
tonight? I'd love
to
take the Yankees one more time, except they're not playing actually not playing anybody right now. Yeah. But that's all right, Donnie, because we got one lined up, ready to go, and I can't wait to see one of the more intriguing games in the NBA tonight, the all-important Game 6. Yep. Can't wait to see how this one is officiated tonight here, Donnie.
And also, Joe, we're oddsmans here, and we are going to talk about those markets a little bit later. What are your odds here, Joe? Would you place that if the San Antonio Spurs lose tonight, Wemby doesn't go to the podium? What's the odds on that?
Oh, that is, well, it's up to him, right? It's not like he's got to worry about, I don't know, any sort of ramifications if he doesn't do it, Donnie, because all he seems to get are these strongly worded emails there. So, I would say he'll do whatever he wants to do. He'll be there if they win, though. I promise you he'll be at the podium if they win.
Let's get to the early lineup here, Joe, because we got some topics we have to get to. Now, in the previous segment, we were hearing from Nick Sirianni talking about coaches, talking about Jalen Hurts, and that's what you want to hear, positives. Well, in this one, Matt LaFleur is talking about Josh Jacobs. I don't think it's positive. Let's go.
Are there team standards that you enforce regardless of legal matters?
Oh, always. We always have high standards here, but, I think our guys have done a really good job over the course of at least my time here. I think Goody and his staff do a great job of valuing character and bringing in, really good people.
I hate to laugh because the topic is serious, but when you ask a guy like the coach and you put him in that position here, he's actively saying we care about character. Did you read the police report on the charges that were filed against your running back? Understand this. Athletes live a completely different life than we do. If you have that much talent, you will get second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th chances here. The common man shows up to work, Joe, with that rap sheet, what he was arrested for. He's probably still in jail because he can't make bail. Number two, we're not dealing with this and wipe your hands. Now you have a coach like, hey, you know what? We have a great system here and we take everything into account. Or do they?
Well, I mean, listen, it also happens to be part of a position here that while he was, their best running back and one of the better running backs in the NFL, everybody is replaceable. And I would say, hey, listen, he has been screaming innocent from the get-go here. We'll see how it plays out, but it's not going to take a lot, Donnie, to convince the public and the NFL. Even if they can't prove anything, the NFL, that doesn't mean the NFL won't step in and suspend him regardless. So it's not a good situation for him or the league or Green Bay for that matter.
Do you remember when the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco went down? People need quarterbacks, or teams, I should say, need organizations like the Browns need quarterbacks, and we were willing to look past everything here, including suspensions, and also rig a guaranteed contract. So when the player does start to serve a suspension, he doesn't have to pay that much. If you are talented, you get more benefits than anybody else. And maybe you see that here with Josh Jacobs here. Travis Kelce, he got a lot of benefits, which includes being a superstar tight end in the NFL, making a ton of money there. Off of the football field, making even more money with his podcast with his brother and showing up on numerous commercials. And now he goes, I'm about to marry Taylor Swift, who is a billionaire. Money is good. Let me buy in to my hometown Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, it's hey, listen, why not, right? I just don't know how you go from, Mahomes and a winning organization in Kansas City to now investing in the Guardians. But okay, it just goes to show you, Donnie, that being part of ownership groups in professional sports teams, whether they win or not, I guess it's pretty profitable.
It is profitable. And also, by the way, there's no more room, I guess, in Kansas City with the Royals because Patrick Mahomes actually bought in to the Kansas City Royals as well. Boy, it must be nice. Play a sport, buy into other ownership. And as you know, Joe, it's like stocks. They only go up in value. So it's going to be a pretty profitable stake that he possibly has there. Mac Jones back with those San Francisco 49ers, Joe, to back up Brock Purdy. Or should we say, when Brock Purdy is injured, Mac Jones will play.
Listen, I think it's a great signing, and it's good for Mac Jones. I mean, I think he's your perfect backup quarterback in a system that he thrives in with some players there. I think it works out great for both sides. That, to me, is a win-win signing, Donnie.
You know what a win-win signing's been for many teams here? Getting Von Miller to play football for you. By the way, did you know Von Miller was drafted in 2011? Not as a kicker or long snapper, Joe, as a defensive end pass rusher. We're lining up in 2026, and it looks like he's probably going to play another year. This guy going to the Hall of Fame when he hangs it up, but he still has something left in the tank.
Well, that's what they say, but I don't know. That tank has been empty for a while, Donnie. I mean, he is not the pass rusher he used to be, but teams are so desperate for that position, they're willing to pay for, has-beens here, and that's exactly what Von Miller is at this point.
Two-time Super Bowl champion, 8-time Pro Bowler, still trying to give it a go. A pass rusher at 37 in the NFL. Pretty incredible stuff from him. Carolina Hurricanes, you know what else is incredible? They lost one time, Joe, in the postseason. And that one time was game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Since then, 3 straight victories, and you want to take the heart out of a city? Go in there up 2-1 and win 4-0 to go back with a chance to clinch in your home building. The Hurricanes looking like they are a Category 5, Joe.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's just unfun. Great run by Montreal, but when your fan base is yelling at you to shoot the puck, then yeah, there's you got a problem there. I mean, Anderson made 18 of the most not very difficult saves last night for Carolina, and it was enough to pitch the shutout. This is likely over, Donnie, in Game 5.
It's been like I love special teams. Like you speak up special teams in football, but in the NHL, their penalty kill and their special team. Joe, you can't even set up your power play, which is astounding. Like, why can't everybody else do it? I don't know. Maybe it's Brendan Moore's system. They have the perfect players to play it. The Hurricanes looking like they are going to win a Stanley Cup this season. Could it be? NCAA bipartisan bill from government. And say, wait, government, stay out of my life in college sports. No, this time I actually want the government in college sports because I am tired of dealing with 30-year-old basketball players that we can't get a actual lawyer / prosecutor / judge to be on the same page at this point. Maybe it does take the government to come and be like, here's your ground rules, NCAA.
Yeah, Donnie, it's kind of crazy, right? Somebody's got to be the adult in the room, and if this is what it takes, then do it, because it's getting out of control each and every day.
It is. And how about, you know what else is out of control? FIFA. Is there one day, Joe, that we can have a reprieve from FIFA as opposed to, ooh, we're excited to, or, ooh, they're price gouging and this isn't working out, and how can we get around this and that?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's as corrupt as it comes here, Donnie. Every time we turn around, there's something else with this leading into the World Cup. This and the Olympics, man. I just don't understand how they keep getting away with it.
Seems like they could do whatever they want to. Hey, I bought tickets to the lower level. Oh, by the way, you're up at the top of the stadium and you're going to like it at this point. I don't even know how they operate, but apparently they make billions of dollars. Kevin Walsh on the way up next. Hour number 2, rolling along on the early line, Sports Grid Network. Down to right side, Joe Ranieri. Welcoming Kevin Walsh, host of In Game Line with Gabriel Morency. The biggest games on the network. He's got you covered here, Kevin. Enjoyment at night, betting live in front of the people, and away we go. And we got some big topics to talk about, Kevin. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling good. I'm wondering if one of those topics is, for some reason, on the way out, because there's not many days left, and A.J. Brown being a Philadelphia Eagle, we're saying, hey, there's a great relationship. A.J. Brown and Chandler, who cares? Also not true, but also who cares? He's obviously leaving the Eagles. What are we doing?
Yeah, Joe and I have been talking about that here, saying, you know what? I've never seen a superstar wide receiver, superstar player in an organization know he's going out, no animosity from anybody. Everybody's holding it tight. Nobody knows what the compensation was, despite it's probably been agreed upon for like 6 months at this point, and away we go. We'll get back to those topics and more, Kevin, but tonight, we got a big one in the NBA. Knicks are over there, relaxation, hanging out in New York City, building towards their first home game, which will be Game 3 since 1999 in the NBA Finals. But tonight, the San Antonio Spurs, they are the favorites, Kevin, -3.5 and a total of 219.5. Is it revenge for Wembanyama, and do we get a 7th game in the series? Or can Oklahoma City be like, whoo, let's handle this, because now we get roughly a week off before we can play in the NBA Finals?
So I lean towards San Antonio in the game, but I'm not desperate to bet them at -3.5. Like, I think what is home court advantage worth in the NBA playoffs? Like, because it is, quite the flip. Although we did close at 3.5 in game number 5, so maybe it's worth 3.5, and the teams are even. I don't know if that's what people believe. I don't think it's necessarily the case here. But again, I lean Spurs. As someone who thought the series was going to be OKC in 7, it's set up to be exactly that. I think it's challenging to figure out how you want to bet these superstars, because they jump off the page, right? They're talking that Wemby's not shooting the ball enough off of the loss, so the Wemby props stand out. Shea is now scoring inefficient 30 pieces. So if he can get the efficiency up, he could certainly get you a 30-point performance. But the worry is that this game gets a little ugly, because when the Spurs have it going, it's defensively. They held the 2 wins, the Thunder, in regulation to 101 and then 82, I believe. So I think it's I have a cautious approach heading into this. Some of the props will be interesting, certainly.
We were saying it earlier, too, Kev. I mean, there's a clear trend here. If OKC wins this game, this is likely flying over the total. If San Antonio wins this game, it is likely flying under the total. At least that's what we've seen here, because if San Antonio is going to handle business here tonight, then it's going to have to be on the defensive end here. So it feels like, all right, San Antonio wins. I'm on the under here tonight.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. And a 219.5, that, like, you're not paying for that correlation, I feel, with the way they didn't adjust the total relative to who they have booked as the favorite, which is a little bit interesting, because I think they very well could have posted 217.5. Again, not that they were going to post 200.5, right? So I don't mind the look at all here. I'm a little interested in De'Aaron Fox, 13.5 points. Fox last game was 4 of 15. The issue with Fox, though, is he's so clearly not healthy. Like, give him credit for going out there and playing. It's the Western Conference Finals, but they mention it pretty often on the broadcast, and once they say it, you can't unsee it. He does not have, I don't know how much De'Aaron Fox could even dunk right now, it feels like, watching him play. But his numbers are not adjusted off of the volume a ton. So he's an interesting look here, I think, tonight.
interesting look nonetheless. And also, if they do win OKC tonight, you get an extra couple days to prepare for the NBA Finals, and away you go. Talked about it yesterday, Kevin, a little bit. Who do you expect to win in the NBA Finals if OKC gets there? I think the Knicks obviously are going to be underdogs, but that rest advantage is going to be massive nonetheless. But Kevin, we sit here late May. Next week is going to be June. A.J. Brown is probably going to be on the move, getting ready for the NFL season. And by the way, I just want to talk about this. Sometimes they get quarterback controversies in the locker room. I don't know if you saw the video clips, Kevin, from the Minnesota Vikings. They interviewed side by side, like I should say side by side right after, Kyler Murray and then J.J. McCarthy. You know, and they say from the seasoned veteran to a younger kid there. Kyler Murray's like, hey, man, awesome. Teaching him everything I can get to. We're going to have some fun here, but I want to make sure it's going to be a competition. It's going to be great. They go over to J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. goes, yeah, we sit on opposite side of the classrooms. It's up to the coaches to decide on who's the better quarterback going to be. I love this stuff because I get nothing out of the Eagles with Nick Sirianni. But, Kevin, Minnesota this year, Kyler Murray will be that starting quarterback, and J.J. McCarthy's like, I don't think so at this point right now. Ooh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, J.J. McCarthy seems like the type who is going to ignore the obvious to say he is in a entrenched quarterback battle, but nothing was more insulting than the initial list of teams that they posted odds for starting QB, week one starters didn't include Minnesota. It was the Raiders and the Browns and they put the Chiefs. They put the Chiefs up because of the Mahomes injury. They did not think it was worth putting up Kyler. Kyler Murray is the same exact favorite to be the week one starter for Minnesota as Mahomes is now for Kansas City. So, all right, 9. But again, I appreciate confidence and he shouldn't give it up, but also the organization should not allow him to look silly. And I feel like they are allowing him to look silly.
By the way, once a week, you and Joe Lisi do the Pro Football show today on the networks. Give me a hot topic that Joe's taking that nobody else is really taking but him. Does he have one yet already? Come on now.
Right on cue. He legitimately thinks the Chiefs should start Fields to open the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Pro Football right around the corner. He's Kevin Walsh. Check him out tonight. In-game live with Gabriel Morency. We'll be right back. Oh, we're rolling. We're rolling. It's hot here. And Yannick Sinner, injuries, no injuries, Roland Garros, and away we go, Joe. We got a lot more information to give to the people today in this segment. You know you love it. It's going to be best bets here, Joe. Riding that hot streak this week. But before we get there, Joe, sometimes you got to take a look at what the public's digging on. Let's go. Fade the public. Here we come.
Yeah.
Got him, as we like to say here, Joe. And by the way, once again, there is a block on me. I am shadow banned in voting in these equations. But the question was, who is your take to win the Charles Schwab Challenge? You know who I want, Joe? Ludwig Oberg. I voted for him. You're going to see the poll about to pop up. Says nobody voted for him, Joe. So I don't know who's voting on what or where it goes, or Russell Henley bought this poll, but he's the favorite at 100% because apparently you probably can't vote for Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, or Ludwig Oberg here.
No, you can't, Donnie, which is an interesting poll altogether there. But yes, I'm all for Fowler anyway. I tell you, we mentioned that yesterday, Donnie, and I'm rooting for him here, but you can't. I mean, Aberg is legit, and he's playing well, and he's already won a tournament this year. But I think Ricky, a bunch of top tens now playing, and there's really not a whole lot of upper echelon guys here that are going to run away with this. So I think there's value there. No Russell Henley for me.
I got to get an update on this tournament, Joe, because it is underway. And how about this?
Yes.
There is a player, Michael Thorbjornsen, who's played one hole today, Joe, and is 2 under par. Usually don't start these tournaments on a par 5. Did he dunk a fairway shot here from like $150, $160 out? Is that what I'm probably reading here?
Yeah, well, he eagled it, so chances are he made it in 2 and one putted it. I mean, it's only 580 yards, Donnie, so getting there in 2 is not a big deal. Yep.
Now, understand this. So they might have, they might be starting in a, first N10 or on the first hole in the 10th hole. By the way, have you ever watched a major golf tournament, or just, a PGA golf tournament, Joe, that started on a par 5, like as the first hole? I don't think I've ever shown up to even a golf course.
That's one of the few. Yeah, he was.
So that one does?
Hole number 1. Wow. Yep, hole number 1. Yep.
Holy.
And the funny part, Donnie, is it's the only par 5 on the front, and there's only 1 par 5 on the back. So there's only 2 par 5s on this golf course.
Love the way to start, man. Sweet swinging away, a eagle on the first hole of your day, and away we go. We'll see who wins this for me. Again, I voted for Oberg. Doesn't show it there on the graphic, but it is what it is. Best bets on the way, Joe. Here comes bye. Sinner. By the way, Joe, Sinner is back here if you're following along with Roland Garros. But Joe is back, and usually it's like, hey, like Joe's had some games in the past couple weeks. Like, see that Knicks cover? You get those. But also you get games that's like, a couple minutes into this, I can turn it off because I already won. Joe back the Yankees the past 2 nights. Sweep, easy as it can be. Where do you go tonight, Joe?
Well, I am going to go to the rubber match here at Fenway between the Braves and Boston, and former Red Sox Chris Sale on the mound at a pretty good price here. And Atlanta is coming off a game in which they got shut out. They were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and they left 9 guys on base. And let's face it, I have seen, it's, by the way, the 5th time the Braves have been shut out this year. They also committed 3 errors and pretty much handed Boston the win. Yeah, I think it's a bounce back with the ace on the mound here. No problem backing Atlanta at this price to win the game and take 2 of 3 from Boston.
There you go. Go Atlanta Braves, even though I hate them. Let's see if that money can turn green. For me, I'm going to the association that's been so kind to me, Joe, over the past 6 months, just looking at some public fade opportunities. And would you believe it? Spurs are the favorite tonight, -3.5. 62% of those tickets coming in on the San Antonio Spurs. That line has not moved off the 3.5. We're taking tonight the OKC Thunder, +3.5. Maybe an outright victory, Joe. Maybe a 100-97 loss that you still get the chicken with a victory here. I'm going Thunder. I need a win this week. Bring it home for me, SGA and the boys tonight And I want to see Wemby maybe crying in some spilled milk later, which means I won some money. Joe's got the Braves. I got the Thunder tonight. Let's get after it, Joe. 2-0 and head into a Friday. That sounds like a good idea.
All right, no problem. I think it's going to be great, in fact, here. I think it's not going to be a clean sweep.
Fantastic. You know what comes up next? PME on TEL. Ooh, yesterday we gave you Trey Turner. Who today, people? Tune in to find out next.